to rock this place.
Welcome to the Buffalo Sports Conversation Room. I'm your host, Jamie Malloy, and ready to talk some Week 8 football on Season 3, Episode 10 with you all. But first, I'd like to bring on my co-host, Mr. Joe Dalio. So with any further delay, here's Joe. Yep. Hey, Joe. How's it going?
There I am. It's going great. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Good. We're going to be talking about a nice bounce-back win for the Bills and how now we got to get ready for Chiefs Week and other exciting things that happen. Hey, guess what? The wait's over. The wait's over. Aaron Glenn and the Jets finally got their first win. How about that? We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about that as well. That's awesome. You know, it comes at the expense of the Bengals, who we just thought was getting into the playoff mix here. That's what's crazy about the NFL is you never know. Any team could beat any team on a given Sunday or Monday or Thursday. But
or Friday with the Brazil games.
Or Friday here, but we're kind of in the background of the sports going on these days. You got a Classic World Series happening. You got the Frozen Frenzy tonight in the NHL. All 32 teams are in action tonight. Hockey's in full swing. The NBA is a week old now, and we have an NBA season. The NBA Cup starts in a week or so. Sports heaven, right? College football in full swing, and of course the NFL in full swing as well. And that's going to be the prime focus of what we talk about here today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Joe, are you ready to talk about that Thursday night game, which was on Prime?
I am ready to talk about it.
Between the 3-3 Minnesota Vikings taking on the 4-3 Los Angeles Chargers, as Arnold used to say when he was governor at SoFi Stadium. With 4:01 left in the first, Oronde Gates in the second from Syracuse caught an 8-yard touchdown pass from Justin Herbert of Oregon to bring the score to 7-0 Chargers. With 13:08 left in the second quarter, I got so excited there, folks.
Hey, that's okay. We want that excitement.
Yep. Kamai Vidal ran it in for a 3-yard score to increase the Chargers' lead to 14-0. With 8:55 left in the second, Will Riker kicked a 54-yard field goal to cut the lead to 14-3 Chargers. With 45 seconds left in the half, that handsome young lad, McConkey, caught a 27-yard touchdown pass from Herbert to bring the score to 21-3 Chargers. With 10:51 left in the third, Cameron Dicker, the kicker, kicked a 43-yard field goal to increase the lead to 24-3 Chargers. With 4:36 left in the second, Jordan Addison, not to be confused with TikToker Addison Ray, caught a 4-yard touchdown pass from Carson Wentz, cutting the lead to 24-10 Chargers. Have I annoyed you that with Joe, or are you okay with that?
No, I love the fact that you're getting a charge out of this game here.
Anyway, with 12:44 left in the fourth, Trey Harris caught a 6-yard pass from Herbert, increasing the lead to 31-10 Chargers. With 7:01 left in the fourth, Dicker kicked his second field goal of the game, this time for 34 yards. With the K-balls nowadays, that's a chip shot to bring the score to 34-10 Chargers. With 1:56 left in the game, Dicker kicked his third and final field goal to close out the game and giving the Chargers the victory, 37-10. So, Joe, what did you think about the Chargers dominating this game from start to finish?
Yeah, well, unlike Jamie here, who is ready for prime time, I think the Vikings proved that they're not. And I think it's going to be a long season going forward for them. Again, they didn't show up for this game. They're in a tough division, maybe the toughest division in football, and with a difficult schedule. Not only those divisional opponents, but even their non-divisional opponents are difficult. So I just think, again, the Vikings are not a horrible team, and I think their future looks bright, but their present, I think, is again, things are gonna go a little slower than I think we originally thought. JJ McCarthy is again going to need more time to get going. I still think he'll be a good quarterback, but he needs a little bit more time, especially because he keeps getting hurt. He's not getting that game experience. The backup quarterback was left out to dry. Was basically begging for mercy, and ultimately gets a season-ending injury here, Carson Wentz. So, it's just, again, not that the Vikings are horrible, but I think just there's better teams in their division. In fact, all the teams in their division, I think, are better. And they just have too difficult a schedule and too much of an uphill climb. So, again, the Chargers, on the other hand, proved that they're a legitimate contender here. And Justin Herbert continues to grow before our eyes. Another excellent game, 3 touchdowns, did have an interception, but 122 on that quarterback ranking scale there. And again, you mentioned Vidal with over 100 yards rushing, 23 carries there too. By the way, Justin Herbert had like 62 yards as well. So the Chargers, the Chargers are just the opposite as to what the Viking situation is. So again, 5-3 at the halfway mark for I keep wanting to say San Diego, but the Los Angeles Chargers, and still in the hunt, for a division title here. So kudos to them for really doing well in this game, and a solid victory. And again, I think the Vikings are showing that the rest of this season is going to be a very long road here.
Mm-hmm. And I know hindsight's 2020 and it looks really bad now, Joe, but do you think it was a good idea for the Vikings to start Wentz? Because he actually looked like he was hurt, like from the beginning. I don't know if you saw the Twitter clip where he was coming out of the tunnel where they showed the end of the pregame show. He was looking hurt when he was coming out of there to enter the field.
That's a good analysis or a good observation. I did not see that. In fact, I don't even think I saw any part of this game, to be honest with you. Just some highlights on that, but no, I didn't know he was already hurt going into it. And I don't know if this was an aggravation of that injury, or if something happened during the game. Again, without seeing the game, I can't really comment on that. But yeah, too bad, because it's hard to tell whether they should have put him in. I think they had little chance to win with him in there, but probably no chance to win because JJ McCarthy wasn't going to be going in there anyway, right? He wasn't active for that game, I don't think. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be playing the next game, but I just think you would have had no chance to win with whoever else was going to be going in there besides Wentz.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. So now let's turn over to our game of the week. The Sunday 1:00 p.m. matchup between the 4-2 Buffalo Bills, or the Carolina Bills, as we call them. Funny, because they were facing the 4-3 and the upstart Carolina Panthers at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. That's how Pat McAfee would say Charlotte.
Charlotte.
On the Bills' first drive, Matt "See-You Prater Alligator" kicked a 45-yard field goal to give the Bills the lead 3-0. With 13:07 left in the second quarter, Prater kicked his second field goal of the game, this time for 43 yards, increasing their lead to 6-0. With 9:03 left in the second quarter, Ryan Fitzgerald, not to be confused with Ryan Fitzpatrick or Larry
Yeah.
Fitzgerald, kicked a 48-yard field goal to cut the lead to 6-3 Bills. James Cook took it to the house on a 64-yard touchdown run on 3 plays, taking 1:35 off the clock, but Prater missed the extra point. Oh, no, Joe, let's cut him like how the Giants did last week. No, I'm just kidding. Prater.
No,
We're
hopefully
not going
not.
to do that. It was just a joke.
Yep.
Bringing the score to 12-3 Bills. With 1:42 left in the half, AJ Apenza picked off the ball from Andy Dalton and ran it down to the 1-yard line. On the next play, Josh Allen scored in the tush-push play to increase the Bills' score further to 19-3. Don't ban this play, NFL. In fact, just do what you're doing. And I think they're doing this as a compromise where they keep the play, but just call the penalty if they're not lining upright. It's like any other play, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Maybe they do that. Maybe they'll say that. They don't. Maybe next year they'll vote on, they'll keep the play, but they'll just continue to do that instead of banning it.
Right.
As a good compromise, Joe. That's what I would do.
And I think that I agree. I think that's an excellent compromise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Treat it like it's any other scrimmage play. If they line up, call a penalty on it, but don't ban it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, with 12:18 left in the third quarter, Allen threw a bomb to Khalil Shakir for a 54-yard touchdown on a 4-play drive to bring the score to 26-3 Bills. With 4:59 left in the third, Cook ran in for his second touchdown of the game, bringing the game to 33-3 Bills.
Mm.
Where was this been hiding, right, Joe?
Right.
Allen scored his second touchdown of the game again with another tush push, with 1:20 left in the third quarter, increasing the Bills' lead to 40-3. With 10:37 left in the fourth quarter, Chuba Hubbard scored on a 3-yard touchdown, but Fitzgerald missed the extra point, bringing the score to 40-9 Bills, and that's how the score would end. So, Joe, what did you think about the Bills bouncing back from last week with the 40-9 win?
Yeah, based on what we talked about last week on last week's show, absolutely nothing in this game surprised me. We said it last week. This is the perfect storm against the Carolina Panthers. Now, they've been playing over their heads a little bit. You know, you said up and coming, 4-3, playing well, especially at home. But again, I think playing over their heads a little bit, and I think we're due for some regression. We all know how well the Bills play off a bye, especially since McDermott's been the coach. So they had that going against them, the Panthers did. That, along with the fact that Bryce Young, their starting quarterback, was missing, this was just the perfect storm. Now, I was surprised that it was as much of a blowout as it was. I think the score that I predicted last week was 31-17 Bills. And I did say it wouldn't be that close. You know, I thought the score wouldn't be an exact indication. And it was just going from bad to worse. Now, I didn't get to see this game. I was traveling on the road the whole time. And I listened to it, you know, and it was very funny because on XM radio, I had the Carolina broadcast because that was the home broadcast. And just, you know, to hear their, very unenthusiastic calls, especially when Epenesa ran that interception back to the 1-yard line. Oh, he just catches it and runs it back to the 1. So matter of fact. And then I actually, during halftime, I put another station on to listen, and they had the Bills broadcast of that same exact play, and the announcer going crazy and very
Chris
excited.
Brown, right?
Yes, Chris Brown.
Yeah.
That's who it is. But, so I got to hear both calls there. But it was going from bad to worse to worser to worsest for Carolina there right before the end of the first half. And, and that continued into the third quarter. So with all of those factors going against the Panthers, I knew that the Bills would recover in this game. And, a shout out here to one of the co-hosts on this show that made a comment on last week's show that said James Cook should be getting the ball more. And hint, hint, it was not me that said that. So kudos to you, Jamie, because there was a James Cook explosion. Give him the ball more, you say? How about 19 carries for 216 yards, which averages to 11.4 yards per carry? A couple of touchdowns with that too. So I think you were right there. I mean, I thought it was right anyway. But to see what happens when James Cook gets the ball. Now, obviously, it's not always going to be like that. But yes, I certainly agree that James Cook should be getting the ball more. And if you wanted any more proof that that's the truth, I think you saw it or heard it on Sunday. Kudos to the Bills defense. Now, they got a major depth boost here as a couple of guys that were suspended and injured, got in this game. Michael Hoyt and Larry Ogunjobi, if I said that right, making immediate impacts. Now, each had 3 tackles, but I thought they had a more significant impact than that. So to have 2 players in that lineup that have been missing all season and make immediate impacts like that, I think that's definite reason for optimism. And it was all hands on decks. Now, the typical guys, tackling machine, what the heck is his name there? But who's the backup linebacker for Milano? What the heck? I'm blanking.
Jerome Bernard.
No.
Shaq Thompson.
No, I'm going to have to look here. But Joe Andreessen was in on 6 tackles as well. Dorian Williams is who I'm talking
Dorian
about.
Williams.
Yes. And so he was in on like 7 tackles, and so was Joe Andreessen. So, excellent performances on the defense there. Again, nothing about this game surprised me, to be honest with you. Easy to say now in hindsight, but yeah, again, we said it last week that the Bills were going to come back strong. It was the perfect opportunity to do that, and they took advantage of that opportunity and just really showed who's boss here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Joe, what about that stellar play from the defense with 7 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and a pick for good measure?
And I did. Yeah, I had that on my notes here. Forgot to mention that, but thank you for the reminder. 7 sacks, everybody involved. Again, the 2 fumble recoveries, interception. Epineza, I wish he would have scored on that play, but I definitely stepped up and made it very difficult. Now, again, you can argue that that the Panthers had their 70-year-old backup quarterback in there and wasn't effective. But one of the reasons he wasn't effective is because of how well the Bills defense played. So, kudos. They took advantage of their opportunities. And, the Carolina announcer had said this on the radio too, and I wish I would have remembered it. I was driving, so couldn't write it down. But he mentioned at the time how the Bills had the score or the number of points the Bills had scored off those turnovers. And I forgot to look it up. But really, it was just an indication that the Bills were taking advantage of those turnovers and opportunities that they had.
Exactly. Do you think it was a mistake for the Panthers not to use Rico Dowell more in place of Chuba Hubbard? Because I know Rico Dowell had all those yards in his revenge game against Dallas, but they forgot because Chuba Hubbard came back. They want to have more of a like a tandem, and I don't know. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I wouldn't say it's a mistake. I think they should have used Dowdle more, and they should use Dowdle more. I think they can split them evenly, but yeah, I think he should have probably had a little bit more time and a little bit, a few more carries in there too. And we may see that going forward. I know they want to use Hubbard as well, but split it up and kind of use the hot hand is what I would do.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it nice to see Joe Brady use James Cook this week to give the Bills a complete win? And Joe, I don't know if you saw, there was this viral video of an assistant coach yelling at the guys on the plane when they got on the flight back from the Falcons because they lost. Mm-hmm. And the guy looked distorted in the film, but I think it was Joe Brady who actually was the one who called them out on that plane flight. It was him who went viral for it.
Wow. Well, good for them. I mean, they need a little fire lit, in a situation like that. But, seriously, was there any doubt that they were going to come out flying in this game? McDermott was 8-0 off a bye before this game, now 9-0. And you just knew they were going to come out strong. Again, like we said, they were ticked off, losing 2 in a row beforehand to 2 teams that they're better than, right? I not to take away. I mean, the Falcons are a good team and the Patriots are a good team. I think the Bills are better than both of them, and they're the superior team, and they lost to those 2 teams. So, I think, again, they had that going too. You had 2 weeks to stew over this and, let out some frustrations here, and which they certainly did.
Yeah. Did you see? I think I also, some other co-host, and it wasn't you, Joe, said that Sean McDermott should be calling the plays at defense, and I think he was too. Both him and Babich were calling them together.
Another genius call, and I agreed with that. When we talked last week, I thought it was a good idea. Again, you give the defensive coordinator a little more experience, but while you're doing that, maybe you babysit a little bit more and then have a little bit more of an impact. And I think we saw the results of that too. And I think we're going to continue to see things that way as we go forward.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So now that the Bills had a great win this week, Joe, let's give our predictions for next week's matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. So do you want to go first?
All right, I will, because hopefully we got plenty of viewers now, and hopefully those viewers don't switch the channel here when I give my prediction. Now, we saw the Bills play an incredible game, and we think this year things are going to be different. Now, we talked about backstage how, I said I wasn't sure how things were going to go this week against the Chiefs. Past tradition, like we talked about backstage, the Bills win the regular season games against the Chiefs, and they lose in the playoffs to them. So in the beginning of the season, when we did our rundown of the predictions of each game, I picked the Chiefs to beat the Bills here, even though the game's in Buffalo. And I know, again, the Bills are very good against them in the regular season. I am going to stick with that. I just think that the way the Chiefs are playing now, they know that they've lost to the Bills in regular season here. It's a little bit of a different story for them too, because they don't have the division clinched by week 6 like they have in past years. So I think they need this game more than they have in past years. I mean, not that the Bills don't. And I think, again, later on, I don't see these 2 teams meeting in the playoffs this year for some reason. I just don't. But I still think things are going to be a little bit different. So my prediction here is a classic game. Both teams have a chance to win. But I am going to predict Chiefs 30, Bills 28 in this game. But again, things turn out well. No big deal for the Bills. Nothing to worry about. They just lose a hard-fought game. But I think the Chiefs kind of upset the card a little bit and go against recent history. What do you got, Jamie?
I'm going to have to slightly disagree with you. I think the Bills continue the tradition. I do think it's a close game. I think the Bills win 35-30.
Okay. Now, I do like your prediction better than mine, and I'm sure
another
our viewers
classic
do.
Mahomes-Allen game.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure our viewers like yours, your prediction better as well. And it could easily go the other way. I'm not totally thinking that there's no way the Bills win this game. I just think it's a hard-fought battle, kind of like the playoff game not a couple of years ago, the one that was here. That was close, but the Chiefs just kind of took away at the end. So I think that's kind of how it's going to go this time. But again, hopefully I'm wrong. And again, it's not like if the Bills do lose this game, it would be their 3rd loss. And again, I only see them maybe losing a couple more games the rest of the way. So, we'll see. But again, hopefully I'm wrong, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, moving on to the 4:25 p.m. showdown with the 3-3-1. That dang one. I'm going to say it every week, Joe.
Yeah, and
What?
unfortunately, Jamie, I got to tell you, and you know this, that one is going to be with us for the rest of the regular season.
Spoiler alert, fans, it will be.
Unless it
Dallas
becomes a
Cowboys.
2.
Yep.
Unless it becomes a 2.
Yes. Dallas Cowboys taking on the 5-2 Denver Broncos at Empower Field at Mile High.
Mm-hmm.
When I say jump, you say how high? Mile High. Anyway.
I'll be honest with you. To me, it's Mile High Stadium.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Denver's first drive, Bo Nix threw a pick to Traquan Burgess, turning the ball over to Dallas. With 10:36 left in the first quarter, the Cowboys settled for a 24-yard field goal by Brandon Aubrey. After the turnover, bringing the score to 3-0 Cowboys. With 8:13 left in the first quarter, R.J. Harvey, not Steve Harvey, rushed for a 40-yard touchdown. And there was no family feud after this run to take the lead 7-3 Broncos. 40-yard touchdown, yeah. Next pass down the field to Troy Franklin for 25 yards with 3:04 left in the first quarter, scoring to increase their lead to 14-3. With 7:29 left in the second quarter, Javonte Williams scored his 7th rushing touchdown of the season, cutting the lead to 14-10 Broncos. It's Broncos time. With 3:47 left in the second quarter, Harvey ran it in for a 2-yard touchdown, but the 2-point conversion failed, bringing the score to 20-10 Broncos. On a 7-play, 72-yard drive, Bryant scored to end the half at 27-10 Broncos. To start the third quarter, the Cowboys took 6:50 off the clock with a 65-yard drive on 13 plays with Williams scoring his second touchdown, cutting the score to 27-17 Denver. The Broncos responded with a 42-yard field goal by Will Lutz. Man, he's a Lutz and not a klutz, to increase their lead to 30-17. With 12:53 left in the fourth quarter, Nix threw a 7-yard touchdown pass to Franklin, increasing the Broncos' lead to 37-17. With 7:18 left in the fourth, or no, I already said that. No, I didn't say that. With 7:18 left in the fourth quarter, Nix threw his 4th touchdown of the evening to Harvey for his 3rd touchdown of 5 yards, bringing the score to 44 Denver, 17 Dallas. With 4:50 left in the fourth, Joey Milton came in for Prescott and threw a 35-yard bomb to Jalen Tolbert to cut the lead to 44-24, and that's how the score went on. Joe Milton for the stay. So, Joe, what did you think about Denver scoring 44 points and beating the Cowboys handily?
Yeah, well, the team that's known for their defense, right? I mean, the Denver Broncos certainly victimized the Cowboys here, and the Cowboys really couldn't get anything going. I mean, you mentioned Javonte Williams, and he had a couple of touchdowns, did well, but really Dak Prescott had probably his worst game of the season. Bradley Milton or Joe Milton, from Milton Bradley, is trying to make a joke there, but didn't do much, when he came in. Bo Nix, however, 4 touchdown passes, right? 247 yards. Again, this is a team known for their defense, and here they are scoring 44 points. Now, unfortunately for the Cowboys, a lot of teams score big-time points against them. So, nothing new and certainly something they have to fix. Hey, here's a suggestion for the Broncos. Give the ball to J.K. Dobbins more, right? A la James Cook. And they did that. They averaged over 7.5 yards per carry. So, definitely kickstarting the offense. But Bo Nix, again, great job there. And just a dominant performance by the Broncos. Now, something about them that hasn't been the case for a while. They've always been that dominant home team, right? At Mile High Stadium. They've always dominated opponents in the past, and they haven't had that home mojo lately. Well, 4-0 at home, and again, beating opponents like this. Now, I was wrong about this team. I mean, they're 6-2 and still have a ways to go. I said the Broncos and Bo Nix would take a step back, but certainly this game and the way things have gone so far certainly doesn't prove my point. So perhaps the Broncos are here to stay, and we'll see what they do going forward. A lot of tough games coming up, but still great performance here, completely dominating the Cowboys.
And Joe, do you think the score would have been closer if the Cowboys didn't have so many injuries on defense? Because they were down 3 of their best corners in this game.
Yes, I do. I think because, I mean, it looked like the Broncos were passing at will against the Cowboys. Now, again, that's nothing new because the Cowboys have been weak in that area anyway. But then to have more people, some of their best players missing, I think that definitely made a difference. Now, I don't think they would have won this game. I'm not saying that. But, yeah, if you're asking if this game probably would have been a little closer, I think it would have.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's take a look at the 8:20 p.m. Sunday night competition, which we've been waiting all day for it. Between the 4-1-1, the one comes up there, too, with the Green Bay Packers, and the 4-2 Pittsburgh Steelers at Acrisure Stadium. It's Heinz Field, really.
I was just going to say, let's just call it
Acrisure
Heinz
Stadium.
Field, which it really is.
With 8:41 left in the first half, Chris Boswell kicked a 56-yard field goal to bringing the score to 3-0 Pittsburgh. With 5:05 left in the first, Jordan, what's love got to do with it? Pass a touchdown to Tucker Kraft salad dressing, bringing the score to 7-3 Green Bay. Tucker Kraft dipping that ball in ranch and scoring. With 12:18 left in the second quarter, Boswell, or as I call him now, Bozzy, kicked his second field goal of the game, this time for 50 yards, bringing the score to 7-6 Green Bay. With 5:52 left in the second, Bozzy kicked his third field goal this time for 48 yards to get Pittsburgh the lead back 9-7. With 34 seconds left in the half, DK Metcalf caught a 2-yard pass from Aaron Rodgers, another one. And in the half, it's 16-7. With 8:48 left in the third, Savion Williams caught an 8-yard pass from Love to bring the score to 16-14. Or as we call him, Jordan Love, like Buddy Love from Coming to America.
Mm-hmm.
With 5:54 left in the third, Bozzy hit his fourth field goal for 56 yards, bringing the score to 19-14. With 14:55 left in the fourth, Josh Jacobs ran the ball, as he is a bowling ball of a human, for a 3-yard touchdown, and the two-point conversion was good, bringing the score to 22-19 Packers. With 10:57 left in the fourth, Kraft caught a 20-yard pass from Love, increasing the Packers' lead to 29-14. So I guess he double dipped there, right? Because he got a second touchdown.
That's a very good one.
With 5:28 left in the fourth, Brandon McManus kicked a 28-yard field goal, bringing the score to 32-19. With 3:59 left in the fourth, McManus kicked his second field goal of the game, this time for 25 yards to bring the score to 35-19. With 2:07 left in the game, Roman Wilson caught a 21-yard touchdown, but the two-point conversion failed, and the Pittsburgh Steelers lost 35-25. So, Joe, what do you think of the Packers coming to town only to ruin Rodgers' revenge game? And plus, the Jets won their first game without him, too, so Aaron Glenn's got to be really happy that Rodgers lost again and his team finally won with Justin Fields. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, not a fun day for Aaron Rodgers for those reasons that you just mentioned. So what happened here? That was my question. Now, I had, couple of pennies riding on the Steelers here. They were 3-point underdogs at home. I thought they would win this game outright. I go to bed and it's a 16-7 lead. And I'm thinking, wow, I got this one. Again, the Packers struggled in their last AFC North opponent at Cleveland. They couldn't beat the Browns. So I said, wow, same thing's going to happen here. And then all of a sudden, just the Steelers defense just lost their ability to stop anybody. Tucker with the craft, if you're going to make the dressing references, instead of 1,000 islands, I think he has 1,000 moves for Kraft here. So 2 touchdowns. Again, I like to see things from a fantasy perspective. 33 fantasy points there for Tucker Kraft. Certainly not on my team. So whoever had him, though, got 33 points there with his performance. Jordan Love with 134. I'm in love with that quarterback rating stat there because I think it's an excellent indicator of performance.
Wait, you're in love with that stat?
Well, probably anybody watching this would think that. But it's true. To me, it's the best indicator overall of a quarterback's performance. And again, if you don't like that 134 rating, then how about this? Just 360 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and just an excellent performance there. So however you slice it, an amazing, no interceptions, anything like that. So great overall performance and a great comeback. I mean, again, the Packers could have laid down and did the same thing they did in Cleveland, but exactly the opposite here. And the Steelers, again, I don't know what happened here. They had a 16-7 lead, seemed to have everything in control. And then I wake up in the morning and somebody's talking about a defensive meltdown by the Steelers. It's like, well, must not be this game. And then I look at the score and see that, yes, it was this game. So kudos to the Packers. They got themselves in a great position, 5-1. And sorry, Jamie, 1. And, still in control and with a good chance there in the NFC North to take that division. So, unfortunately, though, they have a couple other teams that are in the way, as far as the Lions and maybe even the Bears getting in there. So, great performance for the Packers, though. And again, game by game, don't worry about the other teams. Take care of business for yourself. And the Packers certainly did that on Sunday night.
And what's next for Rodgers as he faces adversity for the first time in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform?
I don't know. I see more of the same. This team had mediocre written all over it from the start. It's their division to lose. I mean, with the Ravens not playing well, the Bengals, Joe Burrow getting hurt, the Browns being where they are. I mean, it's the Steelers' division to lose. And again, just when the Bengals were getting back into it, they lose to the Jets. All of a sudden, guess who everybody's talking about in this division? A team that 2 or 3 weeks ago everybody had written off. Oh, by the way, here come the Baltimore Ravens. Now, people are saying that they could easily lose their next game. I don't remember who they have coming up this week, but people are saying that their schedule is a little bit easier, and it's open for them. It shouldn't have been. This should have been easily the Steelers' division, and now they go from winning the division by default to possibly not even making the playoffs with losses like this.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think Rodgers felt about Love and the Packers beating them? I mean, I don't know. The narcissist in him, he probably doesn't like it.
No, I mean, I certainly wouldn't like it if I was in that situation. But you know what? Again, you shouldn't be angry that you lost this game to your old team. You should be angry that you had, now that's partially not his fault. It's the defense is more responsible for this, but still, if I'm him, I'm more ticked off that we choked away a 16-7 lead at the half and lost this game by 10. That's more disappointing in my opinion, if I'm him. But of course it hurts. You want to beat your old team. You want to show them you could still play. The student beat the teacher here in this game. And I'm sure he's not happy about it. And his old team won as well. His other old team in New Jersey.
He kept saying that it was the right. They made the Jets made the right move, and I still think
they did. I still think the Jets did make the right move to move on from him. Yeah. But it hadn't manifested yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Guess what, Joe? It is now that time in our show for our question of the week segment. Would you like to give it a try?
All right, bring it on. I'm not doing too well with these, but time to turn my luck around. Hey, if the Jets can win,
Joe,
so can I.
For episode 10 of season 3 of the Buffalo Sports Conversation Room, here's your question. Can you guess this NFL quarterback? He's played on 3 different teams, was from the 2021 draft class, was 500 as a starter. Is it Justin Fields, Trevor Sunshine Lawrence, Mac Jones, who? Mac Jones, who? Mac Jones, or Trey, ooh, baby, give me one more Lance?
All right. So you said 3 teams. So that knocks out Trevor Lawrence because I think he's only been on 1. You said Mac Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go with my instinct. As soon as you mentioned his name, this is the one I had. Justin Fields.
No, it was Trey Lance.
Wow. He would have been the last.
Yeah, he did start with was 500 with the 49ers, then got traded to the Cowboys, obviously, and now he's Justin Herbert's backup on the Chargers.
Okay. Yeah, great question again. I thought I had that one.
Justin Fields has only been on 2 teams, not 3.
Who's that?
The Bears and the Jets. That's it.
Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he was on the Steelers.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
So he was on.
He was on 3, but the problem was he didn't last long, which was a bad move by the Steelers. They should have kept him as a starter, I think.
Yeah, they could have, but all right. Well, like I said, another great question, and I guess I couldn't be like the Jets this week and win.
Well, it looks like we come to the end of our show. So, Joe, where can we find you in the social media world on Tuesday, October 28th, 2025, the last Tuesday of October? We're almost in November.
It's getting crazy, right? We should be wide awake on next week's show because we're getting an extra hour's sleep on Saturday. Turning the clocks back already. Crazy. Also, do you realize this, Jamie? Before I share my Joe Dell Sports handle on Twitter, X, there you go. But do you realize after this Sunday, we are halfway through, or after this Monday, I should say, we are halfway through the NFL's regular season already. Hard to believe.
That means halfway through the final season of Highmark Stadium.
Right? Unbelievable. So, yep, Joe Dell Sports on Twitter, X. How about you? Where can we find you, Jamie?
You can find me, yours truly, on Bills Chat 1 at Bills Mafia Chat, and also at Jamie Malloy, the unbiased journalist at DJ Dog Tags, and theforkball.com, where I write about all sports. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and ring the bell for all notifications. Make sure you get all so you never miss an episode here. And for more content on Driving to the Top Productions, please visit our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, Twitch stream, Facebook stream, X stream, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you very much for listening. And remember, folks, when the Buffalo Bills do let James cook, they usually win. Let's congratulate Aaron Glenn on his first win for the Jets, Jets. Sorry, viewers, I had to do that. And shout out goes out to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers for beating the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, Aaron Rodgers. And the quarterback friend Chris Berman. Nobody circles the wagons when they're 8-0 coming off the bye week, and they're getting prepared to play the Kansas City Chiefs at home again in the regular season, like the Buffalo Bills. See you next week, folks.
Have a great week, everybody.
To rock this place. Hey!